Hey folks, MasakoX here. One of the better examples of the April Fool's stable from over the years, this story has come about when we decided to be a little more loose with our stories and allow ourselves to be bolder in our approach, whereas with nearly all our other stories that come out during the year, we try to remain somewhat grounded within the lore set up by Toriyama. However here, we could be a little bit more kooky, with the idea of the Ginyu Force becoming good guys. And it was something quite outlandish at the time, but nonetheless a very welcome idea amongst the majority of you folks out there. After all, I have seen very little out there that states that they detest Captain Ginyu's gang. They seem to be like an overwhelmingly global favourite amongst the community. I mean, how could you not like these endearing lads? In any case, we're continuing with the narrative that Goku was able to redeem Ginyu and his allies on Earth and put them to work aiding the Dragon Team, and in some cases, fighting for them on the front line. But in recent times though, Ginyu has been sadly swayed back to the realms of evil, but not through his own volition. Yeah, a little potato had something to do with it. In the last part, we were dealing with the sad discovery that Captain Ginyu had been placed under Barbady's control, and had rejected his space-anity? Leaving his crew behind. Jeice took this the hardest, already having to deal with the revelation that Burter was not speaking to him as his best friend. Luckily for the crew though, Recoome and Burter were whittled down bit by bit to ultimately regain their faculties and thusly freeing themselves from the wizard's magic. But despite this though, Ginyu remained under his spell. Not even the twist of Goku and Gohan fusing into Gokhan, a very long awaited desire from the fandom, could break him out of his mind prison. But, at the very least, Buu was convinced to no longer end the lives of any more people on Earth, and Mr. Satan was charged in making sure he didn't cause any more trouble, to which he was happy to do so. So now, we are in the position of settling down after Buu had been well and truly tempered. But the Ginyu Force was now in complete disarray, since their master and the namesake of said force was now no longer on speaking terms with them. What are they going to do now? All of their dance moves relied on him. That and he's their friend. Even though the loss of their leader for the time being had weighed heavily on all concerned, they had reason to be relieved and grateful at this time. The threat from Majin Buu had seemingly subsided, but Ginyu and Barbary were still around, out there somewhere. They had managed to slip through their fingers, despite Barbary's weak and fragile frame. That and his fingers are absolutely teeny tiny. Magic was something also that they had very little experience in, and thusly, they were able to be duped long enough for the mage and his new minion to disappear into the ether and try and figure out a new plan of attack on the team, and then the universe. It was a very nervous time, but what else could they do? They had to unwind at least a little bit. While the squad was trying to figure out how exactly they were gonna get their captain back from the clutches of Barbary, Bulma was practically yelling at the top of her lungs at Goku and Gohan for allowing that pink blob over there to still exist, after what it had made Vegeta resort to. She was really spitting feathers at the pair of them. Goku had done some very boneheaded things in his time, but this one was probably one of the worst. He ate Vegeta! How can you trust it? Goku didn't seem all that fussed about the situation though. He gave Bulma a bemused expression, wondering why she could be so mad about something which was, at least to him, quite straightforward. Well, I mean, to be fair, Vegeta killed a bunch of people when he first showed up. Bulma shuffled awkwardly. Yeah, that was true. Buu just didn't know any better. He was only doing what Barbary told him. If you take that away, all he got is a curious kid or something. Quite innocent. And besides, we can revive Vegeta with the Dragon Balls. And if we can keep Buu in check, we have a pretty valuable ally to help in case Barbary does come back. Bulma gritted her teeth, but relaxed her shoulders. Yes, she was still mad and extremely upset at the loss of her husband, but what Goku said was accurate. That appealed to her scientific brain. This is what the Dragon Balls were for. Now they no longer had any limits on multi-res. She gave Goku a serious look. If we keep him in check, if he does anything funny, he's your problem to deal with, Goku. I can't believe I'm even considering this, but weirder things have happened, I guess. Piccolo and 16 looked at each other. The android stepped forward and pointed out a fair summation backing Goku up.
To be fair, Doctor, if we hadn't been given a second chance, most of your team wouldn't be here, including your husband. That is an observation I have concluded.
The android attempted to defuse the situation. It was pretty good, Piccolo nodding in support.
He's right. Goku has that effect on people.
He smirked at the Saiyan. Bulma sighed deeply.
That and, quelling his pride from time to time might be a good idea.
By dying? Bulma said, but with a more tired and cynical tone than before. She was being worn down. Gohan interjected now. We're not sure if he really is dead, though. Maybe there's a way to, I'd rather not think about it, Gohan. Let's just presume the worst and gather the Dragon Balls. That way we know for sure either way it ends up. Also, someone should speak to the Ginyu Force. Although at this point, I think they're just the Force. I think they might be equally distressed as myself. That was a valid statement. Burter and Recoome were blaming themselves for everything that had happened up to now. If they hadn't been swayed earlier by Babidi, and then been set upon by the likes of Dabura and that damn magic spell, the boss could have been alright, and none of this ridiculousness would have ever happened. They were practically inconsolable. Recoome was almost in tears, apologizing to Krillin for what he had done during the tournament to him specifically.
Recoome is so sorry, friend. He would never wish any harm upon you. Except on Namek, yes, but those were different times for Recoome.
Oh, don't worry, big guy. You weren't yourself. I could sense that from the start of the fight. That M on your head was just the start of it.
Recoome is not so sure. He remembers everything. All the words that Recoome had said, though they weren't words of Recoome. They will haunt Recoome till my dying day.
I can remember too. That wasn't any old hypnotizing thingy. That blasted wizard takes something that's already within you, something that you think is easily controllable, and just wakes it up. You can't stop it. You're just left to watch yourself do horrible, nasty things to those you care about.
Jeice was having to be the shoulder for his friends to cry on, he being the second in command of the now Ginyu-less force. It's okay, guys. Everyone has a dark side. I was kind of a jerk too when I first met Goku. And as for Guldo, well, we all know about him. Guldo appreciated him not using the actual word around him, but he was more surprised about what Jeice had said. Yeah, living is often struggling with our bad side, am I not right, Piccolo? He didn't really want to be reminded of his past at this time. We need to get the kitten back. I know that he was internally conflicted before all this mess happened anyway. That potato's clearly done a number on him. But I hoped he was past that he could forget about it and revel in the here and now. We need to get that wizard and break his control. But he must be hiding Ginyu in himself somewhere. I wonder what they're planning. Jeice spent a lot of time trying to be the leader and keeping calm amongst his men, but it was a very, very hard task to pull off. Deep down, he just wanted his friend back, more than anything else in the world. Meanwhile, for the last several days after the Goku fight, Hercule had been tasked as Buu's caretaker. He thought it would be one of the hardest and scariest things he would ever have to do in his life. However, as luck would have it, it wasn't all that bad. Despite housing a genie who could easily break worlds in half like a biscuit, he was performing this role quite well. You might say that he even befriended the creature. That was unexpected. Buu was quite placid when he was well fed when he realized. When he wasn't playing games, he was either eating or sleeping. He was like a pet in that regard. He even helped him to use his power for good, like healing a blind boy or finding a dog that they called B. Having a dog around the house also soothed Buu's soul even more. The two of them would stare at each other for hours, lost in each other's heads, wondering what the other was thinking. Buu had never been more at peace with himself. No need for killing people, just time with his two friends and B. Unbeknownst to them, however, they were being watched.
Look at those bumbling fools, Captain. Living out their lives so plainly and blandly. But them taming Buu will be exactly what we need to enact my plan. Your special abilities might be really useful in this situation.
Ginyu bowed, knowing exactly what he was being asked to do.
I can do it on your signal, Lord Babidi. There is no need to wait.
Babidi waved his hand, as if to tame his eager beaver.
Oh, no. None of that gusto is needed just yet. You still need to be taught more about Buu's abilities. We cannot risk you being unable to handle his power. I have learnt much about you, and you cannot use your host's body at full capacity from the start. You need time to grow into it. I can use some of my father's old scrolls to help you understand it faster, but you yourself said it, that you weren't able to use Goku's body to its full potential. Am I right?
Ginyu had a pained expression, being reminded of his one major flaw.
It is true, Lord Babidi. I won't make the same mistake again.
However, when he said that, some intrusive thoughts tried to invade his mind, but Ginyu discarded them. He didn't need them right now, and as such, they remained hidden, laying in wait for days, with Babidi using invisibility magic in order to obscure them from the view of the squad, or anyone else. He was also able to hide Ginyu's latent power, so that none of those morons would happen to sense him by chance and try and guess where they were. With this, they could keep an eye on their movements. One day, something they noticed firsthand, the pair, they witnessed a band of criminals trying to mug Hercule and her Bee. As a result, both the dog and the champ were wounded, which caused Buu to get into a steaming rage.
What is he doing, my lord? Should I...
Babidi looked at this, like he remembered something. He knew exactly what was about to happen.
No! This will turn the tide in our favour, my friend. Watch.
The captain did as he was told, and much to Ginyu's shock, steam consumed the genie, and from out of it, when it had cleared, Buu had divided into two beings, one fatter and the other much leaner and creepier. It was enough to give Ginyu the shivers.
Fascinating, isn't it? Through that level of anger, Buu has become both good and evil. The evil will soon assume control again. Mark my words.
The leaner one utterly wasted the mugger, while the regular Buu healed his friends. They saw the evil Buu dominating the good one, and then transforming him into a bar of chocolate. Ginyu looked extremely concerned. That level of magic and supernatural power was very intimidating for the uninitiated. After that, he quickly started transforming. But whilst Ginyu was enthralled with this, Babidi snapped him out of his stupor.
There! Do it now, Captain! Now or never!
Change now!
Super Buu was cackling, happy to be transforming. But then suddenly, the world around him went black and then yellow, and he then felt himself being pulled rapidly in one direction and then calm again. Quickly, he realized that this body wasn't his body. It was some purple, horned freak. Not stretchy at all.
What happened?
We heard his own voice with a much refined manner. He clasped his mouth as if he were in shock at it.
How do I do it, my lord?
Said his voice, but with a posher tone. Babidi studied his book.
According to the notes, you just have to really mean it. Whatever you choose to do.
Wait!
Yelled Buu in Ginyu's body.
Why do you look like Buu? It was supposed to be my triumph! You took it from Buu!
He tried to stretch his arm to grab this imposter, but nothing happened. He kept doing so, and almost dislocated his shoulder out of its socket. It hurt a lot, which made Buu Ginyu cry with frustration. The proboscis on Super Ginyu's head had started to glow, and turned his old body, containing Super Buu's soul, into a horned cookie.
Delicious. Oh, and look, my horns are back. I wonder if I could form a nose.
He grabbed where his nose would normally be and started to mould it like clay, and within a few seconds, he had a nose again.
Excellent.
Well done, Captain. Now we're going to throw this useless planet down onto its knees.
Super Ginyu held out his hand.
Actually, Lord Babidi, hold that thought. What if we let that for last?
Babidi was confused. Why not take it out right now?
I still need to realize the power of this body, and we don't want the likes of Goku and his friends to stop us when I've only just gotten started, yes? I'm pretty sure that if I consume more, I will also amass more strength, as it were. We can slowly gather power, and then return with total revenge.
Babidi blinked a couple of times. He wasn't mad at this insubordination. In fact, when he processed all of those words, his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree.
That's actually pretty smart. I'm quite astounded. Are you my best minion ever?
Super Ginyu bowed deeply. Your kind words are enough of a payment.
That's an excellent idea. Oh, I do know a planet which you can practice on. A lot of my useless minions came from there.
And as such, Super Ginyu positioned his master on his shoulder, and the two of them flew up into the sky, surrounded by a pink shield, and off out into space. The dragon team clueless as to the fact they were even there. Or so they thought. They did not realize that Hercule and Bee had seen the whole thing go down. Their powers so small, neither Ginyu or Barbary noticed once they had gotten what they wanted. Hercule looked nervous.
Oh, this isn't good. I need to call Videl.
Meanwhile, the dragon team was still working on gathering the Dragon Balls when Videl got the call.
He did what?
Videl quickly explained the situation to the rest of the team, and everyone had to stop their journey to then figure out another plan. Through King Kai, they contacted Shin, who suggested that Gohan's potential may qualify him for a special kind of training that might help. There was always the Potara to help anyway, but with Ginyu having body change in his arsenal, and was willing to use it at a moment's notice, that made this potentially dangerous. They didn't want to gain some ultimate power, only to have Ginyu try and steal it. Goku entrusted Gohan with training at the old Kai's place, as they did not get to do it before. Meanwhile, himself and Piccolo would try and stall Ginyu, as they got a read on his location. He was on a planet called Zune, wreaking havoc. The squad knew instant transmission, so they could be used to evacuate the civilians or transport Gohan and Vegeta when he was back in the fray. The team wasn't too happy about this idea, but Jeice asked for one more thing, to try and sweeten the deal for them. I want the same training as Gohan. Old Kai seemed surprised.
You do realize that it won't give you the same gains as with the boy, right? I'm not even sure if you can even go through with it, Sonny. I appreciate the gusto and desire to help your friend, but I wouldn't want you to waste your time.
I need to, at least try, for my captain.
All right. First Gohan, then yourself.
As that was going on, Goku transported himself and Piccolo to Zune, where Barbary and Ginyu had already gone through a large part of the population.
Well, if it isn't Son Goku and Piccolo. Feels just like old times, doesn't it?
Ginyu, you don't have to do this. Stay away from the wizard.
Oh, on the contrary, this almost feels nostalgic.
Piccolo tried to go for Barbary, but the captain punched him with an enormous power.
No, I don't think so, my friend. Now show me what you got.
The fight was impressive, as both Goku and Piccolo had gone far and beyond above what they had displayed only a few weeks ago. But Ginyu knew their fighting styles, and Goku doesn't have Super Saiyan 3 in this timeline. Barbary was squeaking with glee, and even when they tried to get him, Ginyu was able to save him every single time. After a while, it was clear that they weren't going to win. Goku tried to escape, but Ginyu was fast, too fast, and he absorbed him. Piccolo used this opportunity and managed to hurt Barbary with a special beam cannon, but unfortunately, he missed most of him, as Ginyu was able to deflect most of the attack, which only left the wizard with a nasty looking arm wound. Still hurt though. When he was about to finish the job, Ginyu, now boosted with Goku's power, absorbed the Namekian as well.
Can you heal this?
Of course, my lord.
With Goku out of the way, we don't have to worry anymore.
Ginyu looked seriously back at his boss.
I would not disrespect his son, my lord. He might still have a trick up his sleeve.
Fine. What planet should we go for next? I'll let you choose since you are such a good little minion.
Super Ginyu smiled, adjusting Piccolo's cape and Goku's gi that were a part of his look now.
The one that has the most strategical sense, and is most likely to help our enemies, my lord. Have you ever heard of the planet Yardrat?
And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? What sort of mischief can Barbary and Ginyu get up to on Yardrat? Will Gohan be able to lead the Dragon Team to victory against Barbary now Goku's gone? Leave a comment below, and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!